Bret Greenholz, hey man, welcome to ATV Talk, and thanks for being the on the scene guy for Vegas to Reno. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me on here, man.
Hey, no problem. Vegas to Reno is an iconic race in the United States, and you've raced it many times. What was it like out there for you this year?
This year it was a little different. It was a whole brand new course. Normally we run on the east side of the freeway. This whole time we actually ran on the west side of the freeway. It was actually really different this year, but man, the course was epic this year.
What was some of the high points?
The high points, the whole day, man, just no problems on a bike.
Well, that's great for your race, but I mean, some of the high points for the course because you know I've raced it a number of years and it was pretty much the same over the 10-year period that I spent out there.
Yeah, I mean, I have about the same amount of time on that course as you do, but the course this year, like the different roads, the different sceneries, like some of the different mountain passes we got to do, things like that, it just made it more epic than it was the year before. And the year before that, it was just all the different terrains. Like we technically this year we did not hit a single like mountain road that was like woods and everything else where it's real tight. Like it was like mountain, like rock roads. Like they threw some definitely difficulty sections into it, which made it a lot more fun for us.
So the speeds were down, so the length of the race was longer.
Yep, just a little bit, but they still had those fast roads.
But, dude, that's okay. I like the easy part. Those are the sections I want to ride.
Yeah. I like getting through the rough, and then you get a nice long break on a road. Then you get back into the tight sand washes, then the rock section, then you get a break again. So it definitely made it super fun this year. It's probably my favorite course that they did the past couple of years.
That's awesome. So let's just get right into some of the things that are going on in social media. There was a video of a truck and an ATV having some issues. What
Yep.
can you tell me about that?
Honestly, it's a couple of guys I met a couple years ago on a Raptor 700 expert class. Really, really nice people. But honestly, the only thing I know is the footage that you've seen. You know what I mean? Because we weren't there, we don't know what was happening. From the footage that I've watched versus what people are saying, this and that. It to me personally, I'm not going to put point fingers, but the truck should have slowed down to pass safely.
Okay.
Because if you think about it, like from the back in the day, like when we raced and we were getting caught nonstop, as soon as you get caught by that first truck, you're instantly turning your head nonstop. You're literally on a swivel from that point on. And I'm sure he saw him coming. Me personally, I would have slowed down and moved off the course or got out of the ruts. I'm not sure the situation he was in, but the speed that truck went by, I think was very unfair. I think he should have slowed down, made sure the quad got safely off the road before he made a pass.
Did he hit the quad?
He hit the quad dead on in the rear tire.
So have they disqualified the truck?
I'm not sure of the stories of what's going on. I think they're looking into it more now that there's actual footage of it, but we don't know because, I'm not sure how Best Desert's going to handle it. But looking at the video, there's plenty of room for that truck to pull over on that road.
Was it the lead truck or no?
No.
Just do you know what place or where they were in their race?
I do not. I think they're a little bit past hand going towards Rawhide. And that area is somewhat rocky. So, with the drivers and their GPS maps, like they should have gave that dude a little bit more time to pass versus, like I said, passing him at the speed he did.
Do you know how the ATV rider is at this point?
I think he's okay. I think he's banged and bruised. I'm not too sure, but his 700's totaled.
So the truck guy needs to buy him a new bike.
My opinion, he should help with definitely finances of hitting him.
Man, I wonder how they're going to handle it. I know what happened in Baja years back. Guy hit a guy, the truck team hit a 400EX guy. Before they got out of his hotel room, there were people there asking for donations,
Really?
not politely asking.
Oh, I'm sure. I just hope, it's handled professionally. I hope the guy does reach out to the guys to, talk one-on-one. Like that's how it should be handled, and see what the truck guy can do for him. Because, again, in my opinion, he didn't pass him very safely.
I believe the best in the desert needs to penalize him.
100%.
The truck guy needs to be disqualified, and until you pay for those damages, you're not You're not coming back.
Yeah, yeah. Something along the lines needs to happen for sure.
Yeah, because I think Best in the Desert's had such a clean record for so long. I don't remember things like this happening.
I don't either. I mean, 2 years ago, we had an issue with our race bike, and we snapped an A-arm. We got to the pit, we welded, we were 3 hours down. We were getting caught by trucks left and right. But, like I said, once I get past, I'm on a swivel nonstop looking, because I'm terrified of that.
Right.
That's a big beast come down on you. And again, don't know the situation of that dude. He could have been getting out of the way, but that area with the suspension and stuff the trucks have, he could have gone further off the road. To me, in the video, it doesn't look like he went very far off the road at all to even get around him.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I also heard that did the second place pro quad team have an issue with a truck as well?
I don't know if they had an issue with the truck. Not that
Okay.
I know.
I thought there was another incident that I had heard something about, but hearing about it and seeing it on video, two totally different things.
Yeah, I think they got to the finish line before the trucks did.
Wow. When you look at the overall results, you mentioned something about you guys being inside the top 10. Did that hold up?
No, we were fighting all day long. We came into the last pit and we were in the top 10. Like, and it's hard to do that on a quad with all those freaking fast bikes. We were moving all day long. When we came out, we had a goal to get in the top 10. We fought all day. We got into the top 10, but in the last 20 miles, our bike smoked one of the rear hubs off, and just the nut was holding it on. So we had one wheel drive for, I think, like 20 miles, and that one bike got past us.
Oh,
Yeah, put us in 11th overall.
that's horrible.
Yeah, we were right there.
I have not heard of a stock hub failure on a Honda hub ever.
Neither have I. I mean, I pulled the hub off Monday. So I was like, I gotta see this thing. Axle, they're all smooth. The only spines I have are like about that much left in the rear hub on the very end where it backed into the axle nut.
So
And
the hub was bald, but the axle was splined.
yep.
Oh wow. Wow.
And if it felt kind of weird throughout the day, we checked the hubs. I have my wife, she runs the pits. I tell her, hey, next pit, let's do this. Hey, next pit, let's do that. She checks over the bike. I trust her because she's down here with me building this thing. And it just felt fine. Like, it felt a little loose, but we figured the tires were getting ballooned up from the heat, things like that, because it was definitely warm out there. And the way we ride, I mean, we roast these tires, but it felt great. He left pit 13. He said the bike felt great. He got into Mount Como, and he said it was over from there, and he just babied the bike to get to the finish line.
20 miles. But that's not that bad. Was it the same finish where you come in through the rocks?
Yep, that same mountain that they've ran every single year, we still go through it.
Yeah, I never had to do that. I never had to do the rocks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we never had to go through those. Well,
So
you know,
the good part about that is I've done it every year. Almost every Vegas Reno that we've done, I have done that section, so I know it very well. My teammate Elijah, he's all, I've never started this race. I've never finished this race. I see you've never done Mount Como. He's all, no. I said, well, this year it's yours, buddy.
yeah, I've had enough. I don't need to be doing that.
Yeah, I did last 2 years in a row, and it's your time.
That's awesome. You
And
know, who won the trucks?
Ryan Arciero, I don't know how to pronounce his last name correctly, but he's in that Trump truck, and he was on fire. He actually overalled the whole race over the dirt bikes.
Wow.
Yeah, he barely, I think he beat Preston Campbell, not by much, but he did beat him.
Preston Campbell's not related to Johnny Campbell, is he?
Yes, sir. That's the next generation.
Is that his son?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
I did
yeah.
not know that he had a son that old.
Yeah, Preston was moving, man. He was in the fight with the KTM boys. I think the kid from Australia, and Skyler, like they were battling all day long, and he just prevailed at the end.
How were there any of the other trucks that beat any of those top few bikes?
Not that I know of. I think it was maybe just Ryan and maybe a couple UTVs were getting up there because I mean those UTVs are, they're crazy fast nowadays. Um, but trucks, not really. Like a lot of it was the UTVs were up there.
Really? The last few years I checked, they were still struggling to finish.
Yeah. So I got the results actually sitting right here. It does show Nic Whetstone and a Geyser Trophy truck taking fourth overall, and then a couple 6100s. So they definitely were getting up there. 6100s, man, they're like the new trophy trucks. Those things are fast.
It's changing a bit, I take it.
Yeah, definitely. Especially, I mean, for how many years like the motorcycles always got the overall. But that Ryan Arciero, I think he's done it 4 years in a row where he's actually overall at Vegas Reno.
Man, that's still pretty cool.
Yeah, the dude's on fire.
I don't know if I'd want to take a ride in that truck though.
I do.
You're right on the head, bro. I wouldn't mind driving, but I don't want to ride in it.
See, well, if I'm riding it, at least I'm still strapped in a cage versus being on that.
That's still way more fun.
Oh yeah, 100%.
The ATV is still way more fun.
Oh yeah.
Did you see on the UTV list where Josh Rowe came out? Because I know he won his class.
Dude,
I don't know what division he was in.
I think he was. Let me pull it up right here.
Because
Josh,
he's in a Can-Am too.
dude, yeah,
He's
riding with Mitch Alsop's car, I believe. Let's see here. Josh Rowe UTV Open in the Can-Am with Mitch Alsop and Preston Oxford.
Yep, that Preston's his buddy.
Yeah, and he did it in 9.5 hours. That dude, that Maverick R is just on fire.
9.5 hours. That
He beat us
by 30 minutes.
He beat us by 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah. Yeah, Josh. I mean, Josh, look at Josh's background. I mean, from the quads and always going to Baja, like, and with his dad and everybody, it's in their family just to be fast.
You ever seen him ride a dirt bike?
Just on his little Baja adventures.
Dude, he's just as fast on a dirt bike.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he could come out and run probably in the pro bike class and well.
I believe it. I mean, it is Josh Rowe.
Well, down here in the district, in the local district, he won the ATV class, the motorcycle class, and he was winning the UTV class, and something happened.
Oh man, that three-peat would have been cool.
Pardon?
That three-peat would have been cool right there.
Oh yeah, we've been following his career because he rode for us for a number of years, and he's still like our test rider, when we
Yeah.
need something done, he jumps on and takes care of it for us. Because if you're going to have somebody shake down your machine, that's the guy. He's going to, give it a real honest run. You're going to know what it's going to feel like, and you
Yeah.
just go from there.
I would love to meet up with Josh at one point and have him try this monster out, see what he thinks.
Well, there's a couple things that have to change on it before he could throw his leg over.
It's got Duncan all over it.
There's still a couple other things got to change. We're not going to get into that today. But yeah, I mean, I would like nothing more than him to, throw his leg over, get an assessment.
Yeah.
We love it when I was pretty honored when he got on my bikes at first and came back and, I want to change this and this. And I'm like, oh, everything else good. And he goes, everything else is great. Leave it all the same. Adjust those two little things. Or he'd come back and he goes, hey, I think this might be loose. And I think that might be loose. But other than that, great. And you're like, what's he talking about? And you walk back there and freaking it's loose. And you're like, what the hell? The only other rider that I knew of that had that feel and instinct was Marty Hart.
Yeah. I wish I was back in the day watching a bunch of those boys ride. Like I've lined up with like Tim Farr, Shane Hitt, all those guys back in when we did the Mickey Thompson Stadium races. And all those guys just knew details about their bikes.
They're so smart and so talented. It's not today. It's not the same. We're getting off track, but it isn't the same at all. Your overall entries for the weekend, do you remember what those were, or just guessing?
Guessing it's around 250, just give or take around 250 for everybody's entry at Vegas Reno. That's pretty good. I mean, we had 71 bikes sign up throughout all the different classes they got. We had 8 quads show up, which is getting way better than what it's been, and one good old 3-wheeler.
Gotta love that. Did they get across the finish line? I know they had a tire failure.
Yeah, they have a pretty good story. Was talking to Goob, of course, Wrangle at the finish line. He said a tire came apart and he had to sit there and cut the rest of the tire off because it was just whipping around real bad. And the bike was overheating because, I mean, with running the one wheel and the one wheel, he kept tracking and the bike, he'd had stopped like every mile. And he was out by Rawhide, which is, of course, alternate pit middle of nowhere. And he got it there. The team got a tire out to him. And then he had to ride to 11 and it was, or sorry, to 12. And it was getting so late at the night, they were ripping down this road and trucks were coming. And from what I heard, the story is Julian on the bike is just down a real bad rut road. A truck was coming and he could not for his life. He said, get that 3-wheeler out of the ruts. He jumped off the bike while it was moving to get off the road. And then the bike kind of veered off and rode off. And then the truck went by. Those guys are nutty.
Man, but he wasn't hurt.
He was not hurt. The bike, the headlight actually got bent up real bad, so it's kind of pointing straight up. And they were all set up with peripheral lights on their helmets. And so when Wrangle got on at 12, when he finally got the bike in, he had to ride like this with his light pointing straight because he had one pointing up, one pointing way over, and his headlight had to point straight. But he got it to the finish line.
Oh, that was his section all the way to the finish?
Yeah.
Oh, that was miserable.
I'm sure it was.
Yeah, Wrangle said he only rode like 68 miles or something like that.
Yeah, it was probably like I think from 12 to finish, it's like 77. I think that's how long the section was, but I think he rode 12 to finish. I mean, he lives up there. He probably knows it really well. So, but still, on 3-wheeler.
Julian rode that part, but Wrangle told me he only rode 60 some miles.
Oh, then he probably rode 12 to 13 then.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what the scenario was. I will get the download and get the information, but man,
I bet it's a good story for sure.
Were the finish rates for the UTVs higher than normal?
I believe so. I mean, we were following a lot of the UTV stuff. There were quite a bit broken, but I think the overall like finishers versus DNS, the finisher rate was a lot higher this year.
Yeah, guys, I know last year and the year before it was kind of touch and go with the UTV stuff.
Yeah, the past couple years is real rough. And there's a bunch of sections I think got rained out, things like that. Like in 22, I mean, we had to get there's a transfer section. We lost 100 miles because of water and the rain ruts, all that stuff were pretty bad the past couple of years. But this year it wasn't nowhere near as bad as the last 2 years.
And didn't Megan tell us that some of that terrain hadn't been used in over 20 years?
Yeah, yeah. There was times you could have been ripping down those roads just like I was from 2000s and ripping. I was like, I remember this section, and it just felt good to be on those roads again. And when I was riding, the memories of riding with my buddy Charles or Mike, all those guys, even Clayton Sullivan, all those guys, even Elijah back in the day, and some of the Super State parts. It was awesome to see those roads again.
Yeah, that it's crazy. I still remember being out, when we did the 1,000, and you're just out in the middle of freaking nowhere. I had no idea where I was. If
Yeah,
I
I
had to
didn't.
if I had to walk back in, I would have never made it.
I didn't end up doing the 1,000. I did do the Nevada 2,000, though a long time ago. Of course, in the 2,000, but I never did the 1,000.
Yeah, I did the 1,000. I didn't do the 2,000.
The 2,000 was gnarly.
I wish I would have done that. I mean, it would have been a lot of fun.
It was. I mean, but we were on a 400EX, bone stock motor because our race motor blew up like 2 days before. So we just put a bone stock motor in there and we just wanted to finish. And we actually ended up being the first quad overall finishing that race at the last day. I don't know how we got her. I think I saw Eichner in that mysterious wash and perump just sitting on the side. I was like, no way. And I'm, 17 years old, passing Eichner, and I was like, I don't know why you're on the side of the road. It doesn't make sense. He was on fire the whole week.
Yeah, we weren't there. It was a rough go for them. They had some issues. They worked really hard for that.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you think? Vegas to Reno, is it going to be something that goes away, or are they just going to adapt other races into the series next year?
I don't think Vegas to Reno will ever go away. That is the most iconic race for the States, if you think about it. We got guys coming from back east, guys coming over from Puerto Rico, like the Quad Ironman guy that came over. It's a race I think every racer knows about and wants to do it. And I think it'll never go away. I really don't. It's literally one of the only races I look forward to every year.
I loved it. And I miss the fact that I'm not too old to race anymore. I just don't have the energy to build the bike and set the team up and go do it. It's not that I physically can't. I just don't have the energy to put it all together. You want me to just show up, throw my leg over, ride a section, be done, go home? Hey, no problem.
Count me in.
But I'm not that guy. You know me, I'm not that guy.
No, I know.
Get involved in the whole thing, freaking work the bike, do this, do that. And it's just not an easy, throw your leg over and go ride.
No.
We'll hopefully something will happen and I'll get to go out and ride a Raptor 700 on Vegas to Reno.
That'd be awesome to see. We were talking about building one coming up shortly, but I just don't know that bike very well. I know the ins and outs and everything, but for me to adventure outside of our 0405s, it's hard for us.
I think because you'd be like, why didn't I do this 5 years earlier?
100%.
I think that the suspension dial in is going to be your slowest platform for that. But as far as overall build, I
Uh-huh.
it would come pretty quick.
Really?
Yeah, because the chassis is good. Um, it hasn't been beaten up enough to know what some of the weak parts are.
Yeah.
So if we get it out there a couple seasons, couple big races, and find out, really what's going to hurt you, what's not,
Yeah. And
then
that's
you know
and
for sure. But the engine is super reliable. Look at they've been racing the things into the car rally, dude.
uh-huh. Oh, I know. And like that's what I'm afraid of is us venturing into a new bike, a new build, and putting it out there. And I'm not a fan of, just like probably you are, of DNFing.
I don't think that if you pay attention. So here's the thing: you either do it right or you do it wrong.
Oh, 100%.
And here's the thing: 80% of the people that are having DNFs are doing it wrong.
Yeah. And I'm particular. I'm the kind of guy that'll take that bike completely apart, understand it. When I put it back together, like what I do with this one is I inspect every bolt. I take my time putting every bolt in, torque spec, Loctite, anti-seize. Like I'm very picky on how I build my bikes so they don't fall apart.
Well,
I don't
how many years you've been doing this?
too long, but I'm still going.
And it's taken you this many years to start understanding why all that
Yep.
time was taken, those late nights, why we checked all those things,
Yep.
why I said some of the things I've said throughout the years.
Yeah, I learned a lot from you, that's for sure.
You just can't take it for granted. So, after I talked to Team Blind on Sunday, I was hit up multiple times from multiple different potential teams. Hey, V2R, Raptor, what do we got to do? Let's get this thing rolling.
Oh, great.
I would love to see 5 or 6 of them roll out there next year.
Yeah, I would love to be on one, but I mean,
I
being
don't,
a garage team for who we are and what we do and things like that, like this has taken me years to build. This is probably a 2-year build that I did. We raced it last year. It's on a new chassis, everything else. I switched over to roll design, of course. And this bike has been working so dang well. It's amazing. It's just the only thing we lacked versus that Raptor is literally top speed.
and that's the thing on some of those sections of Vegas to Reno, that top speed is what'll kill you because
100%.
it'll put such a gap in you that in the rough sections, yeah, you'll be faster, but you won't be that much faster.
Yeah. And like I want to build one. I really do, but
And just think about it this way: as the evolution goes on, the Raptor will just get better in the rough, better in the rough, and better in the rough. And then as you're getting better in the rough, that means you're getting better in the top speed or the high speed sections.
yeah.
I don't know
Yeah,
what the
'cause,
average, what's the average time? Do you have it for the pro bike guy?
the pro bike, Preston, he finished the race in 8 hours and 43 minutes.
What was his average mile an hour? Does it say on the paperwork?
It does not. I know I did the math for excuse me, our average. We did it in 10 hours and 7 minutes. We averaged 55 miles an hour. Um, so if he's doing it in 8:43, he's got to be doing 65, 70.
I think you could get your average to 60, 62 miles an hour on a Raptor
Oh, I guarantee it.
instantly.
Guarantee it.
You're going to be knocking on doors with how fast that Raptor is, where the bikes are going to be like, what is this?
Why are we competing down this straightaway with a quad?
Why did this quad just pass me in the fastest part of the track? What am I doing wrong? Well,
Dude,
you didn't gear your bike up, idiot.
yeah, I wish we had a Raptor for this race because where we were during the race, And every pit we were pulling into, so many pro bike guys and the open pros, all those guys, they come over, man, you guys are ripping. I was like, yeah, but you guys get us to straightaways all. It doesn't matter if the straightaway is long or whatnot. If the straightaway has turns and stuff like that, you guys dip out. And they were offering changing tires, changing motors to slow us down because we were just having a good day. And they were like, we're just tired of eating your dust. I said, well, slow down then.
Right, there you go. There you go. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Any other news that came out during the race that people should know about?
Honestly, there was a gentleman named Jose Cruz. He flew out from Puerto Rico. It was his first desert race on a quad. I believe he was on a YFZ 450. There's, believe it or not, there's a lot of YFZ 450s out there. It's kind of weird. Not being a desert bike, this dude came out first desert race ever. He Ironmanned it and finished it in 15 hours, which was super cool. And then we had a couple GNCC guys come out on quads that never raced it before. They won the expert class. They did really well out there. They're actually bugging us to come out and race GNCC. I'm like, trees don't move like rocks. I can't do that yet.
Right, I agree.
Then you had the all girls young team on Dirt Halo's team. They finished. They believe they got second place expert. They did really good for their first like really big point to point. Like they did Silver State. They did really well there. This was like their first like really big race. They came out, had no issues. They finished, which was super cool. I want to give my hat off to this dude named Dustin Slade. He rides Ironman Pro on a bike, and we were going back and forth all day. I don't know how this dude kept up running Ironman with me and Elijah, switching off, and he literally sat in our dust all day. We'd pass him, he'd pass us, and he finished, I think, like 2 minutes behind us on time. And he, being an Ironman, that's just insane to ride in quad dust all day long by yourself. And dude's an animal.
Man, well, hats off to him.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That's pretty cool stuff. Those are good stories. Anything come down from the truck world or the UTV world that you heard about?
Not really, just those Maverick R's, man. They're top speeds, the how fast they are, things like that. The trucks and buggies. I haven't really even heard about buggies anymore. It's crazy how it's just literally trophy trucks, 6100s and UTVs. You know, even at the riders meeting, things like that, they're like the first wave of trophy truck 6100s, they're saying like, guys, if you get caught by a UTV, get out of the way. Obviously, the UTV is faster than your race truck. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, that's insane. A UTV these days are beating those trucks.
Have you lobbied for a start where it puts you behind all the pro bikes?
No, this year was the first year um that we were the fifth class off the line behind all pros. Normally, like back in the day, they started behind the expert bikes, all that stuff. If you remember, this year we literally were 26th or 28th off the line, which was nice.
I rode the amateur class on a quad one year, and I think that there might have been one quad behind us leaving the line.
Nope.
It was
That's good.
the sun was up, it was bright, it was daylight. I could have swore it was 9 o'clock already by the time we got off the line. And but I'm also talking when there was almost 100 quads leaving the line.
I miss those days, man.
Yeah, it was freaking insane. You know, your
It,
pro quad numbers, they slotted it out to,
uh-huh.
40, 50 or something like that.
Yeah. Even the expert class back in the day, they had so many quads back in the day. But what's nice is Legacy dropped their prices. They helped out. The way the Best in the Desert promoted Vegas to Reno, even though it is Vegas to Reno, like they promoted it very well. And they got quad numbers out there. Like Adam McGill is supposed to show up, and we were like, yeah, we want to battle with those boys, from being back east and who he is. And unfortunately, his teammate dropped out like Tuesday or Wednesday before the race, so he'd ended up not making it out. But
We could have got another teammate.
yeah, I wasn't gonna say nothing.
Oh, come on, dude. It's not his world.
I know.
He's a great rider, but it's not his world.
All I had to do is make a phone call and somebody would have rode with him.
Oh, dude, we could have. I could think of 10 guys that would have rode with him right now.
100%. He could have called me, and I'm like, "No, I'm gonna beat you."
But I know a guy that'll ride with you.
I know a guy will ride with you though. I ain't gonna pick a fast guy.
I would have called Josh.
Yeah.
But
I think
Josh wanted to do the UTV thing, so he probably would have said no. But
yeah,
there's a couple other guys that would have done it.
yeah. Like there's a couple guys that we're kind of throwing around right now for next year for the Nevada 1000.
Why are you going to put their guy on?
We originally want to do it with 2 riders. We want to keep it traditional, old school, best in desert way with the pro class, 2 riders. If we want to bring a 3rd rider in just to help give us that little bit more break, because it's 1,000 miles. Like at the Vegas Reno, we felt good all day. The way we plan to ride is, we do short rides and then we start prepping for the longer rides so we can get our body used to it. But with that 1,000, I think if we have just that one little bit extra more break to give our body a break, because we want to push all the way to the end. And you can't do that with 2 riders. I mean, you're going to have to ride a 100-mile section, then get off. He's going to ride 100 miles. I'm going to ride 100 miles. But it's up in the air if we're going to bring a 3rd rider on. Like, we have a couple guys that we've talked to. You do know them. But I think we're still going to probably stick to traditional and do what's never done and do it with 2 riders.
I think that's your best bet. I really do.
Because it's harder. What scares me is if this guy gets on, then Elijah gets on. When he gets me to the bike, I have no clue if they communicated correctly, because me and Elijah have we work extremely well together in the pits. Like it just works for us how our communication is very short to get in and out of that pit. Bringing a 3rd guy in, we don't know what's going on with the bike. We don't know how he's ridden the bike versus what me and him have done for years on end.
And that's why you should keep it too.
We might. That's just a lot of miles.
Dude, it's nothing. You're young. You can handle it.
Yeah. Not
You're
super young.
You're young. I don't want to hear it. Hey, brother, I appreciate you going out there, and congratulations on your win. Congratulations to everybody else that finished and either won their class or just got to have a great experience. Keep me posted on that Raptor and that truck situation. I think
I will.
I'm going to Megan as well.